I'm here at AALL, which I do know that now, not being Isles, as I was calling for a couple of days. Who am I talking with?
Hey, I'm Jake. I'm the co-founder of Casetext and CEO.
What's Casetext, and how long has it been around?
Casetext just celebrated its 4th birthday. It's a legal research website, and I was a lawyer before starting Casetext, and what our mission really is to make sure that we provide the information and only the information that attorneys need when they need it. When I was an attorney, I felt all the time like we were just under this flood of content. There's so much information, so much, so many cases, briefs, etc. that you needed to review to do anything. And what I really wanted at the end of the day was something to cut through all the noise and find me just the things that I wanted when I wanted them.
Give me the story of the entrepreneur. You got this idea. You're going to do this. Where do you go to law school?
I went to law school at Stanford Law.
Yeah. So you're in the Silicon Valley when you go to law school.
I was in the Silicon Valley since I was born. It's in my blood. Yeah, it's in my blood.
It's in your blood.
Yeah, it's in my blood.
And then where do you practice?
I practice at Ropes & Gray in Boston, as well as for the government. I worked for Governor Deval Patrick before I worked at Ropes & Gray. Yeah.
So then you come back to Silicon Valley. You got this idea for Casetext.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did it all start? Why don't you just tell the story? Because people find it pretty interesting. There's people out there that have got legal tech ideas, and they're figuring out how do you climb that mountain, how it all goes about, how you figure out what you need, how you get people. Share a little bit of the story.
The truth is actually the idea for Casetext started, to start the entrepreneurship story, it started way earlier than Casetext, way earlier than 2013 when we started. Because I grew up in Silicon Valley, because my dad had a small internet business as I was growing up, I learned how to code. And I learned, how to program. It kind of gave me an unfair advantage. When I was thinking about starting a company, I thought, okay, well, I see all these problems with the things I'm doing today, and they span from, how efficient I'm not being and how many pieces I feel like I'm missing, but also I felt like there are real social justice problems with the fact that the law itself and access to the law was behind very, very expensive paywalls, right? And the idea formed really in 2007 at the beginning of law school for me. And that idea kind of sat there for 6 years. So lesson number 1 for entrepreneurs is don't let your idea just sit there for 6 years. But the whole time, honestly, I thought, well, I know I can code this, the thing, my vision, and I know that, there are problems, but somebody else will figure it out eventually, of course. And lesson number 2, I think, is that people, it's weird, but people don't always necessarily jump on ideas, even if you think they're obvious, right? There's just taking that step and saying, I'm going to go out and do something about it is one of the hardest things. So how did I start the company? I was a little bit naive, to be honest. I was loving my law firm job. I think a lot of lawyers leave law to do legal tech or whatever because they're like, I'm done with this. I was loving it. And I just thought it'd be really cool and fun to build this thing, and I also was really passionate about this issue. And I gave my 2 weeks notice before I had a dime in funding, a line of code written, nothing, right? And I kind of on a whim applied for this program called Y Combinator, which I highly recommend going to, for those of us out there who aren't natural-born business leaders, going to a program that's a startup accelerator where they give you $60,000 and a lot of advising, which ended up making a whole world of difference. And it went from having no product whatsoever, just an idea, to 3 months later having a fully functioning product. And that's because they said, these are the most important 3 months of your life. Work your butt off. And ever since then, it's like we were shot out of a shotgun. Just flying at 1,000 miles per hour.
And it turns you onto all the connections and everything grow.
Yeah.
You guys have, you've done various things as you were working it out to index case law. You annotate it with other commentary from lawyers and whatnot. But I don't know how long ago it was that this product CARA pops up. How long ago was that?
The origins are about 3.5 years ago.
Yeah, so 3.5 years.
Yeah.
But when did it come out and where people saw it on the market?
People saw it on the market. So I think actually the first time anybody saw it at all in a demo format outside of Casetext was at AALL last year.
Okay,
a year ago. My colleague Pablo was running around with his laptop open. And anybody who had listened, he'd say, check this out, no UI. It was literally just, a very rough form on a web page and a printout of cases. And that's all it was. But people got it. And that was one of our earliest indications that this thing that we've been developing for so long, leveraging all that data we spent all that time collecting was something that could actually work. And we made our our first client was, I think, October of last year. Yeah.
What was the theory behind CARA? What does it do?
Yeah. So kind of imagine CARA like a legal research assistant that you can hand off a document like a brief or a memo to, and it comes back to you with the research you need to read next, right? So in this case, for example, it's all of the cases that are highly relevant to the document you uploaded, but that weren't included in the brief itself, so things you don't know about already. Right. And also all of the briefs by other peer firms that might help you make your argument better. And the theory behind it is really this. When I was practicing, and when a lot of Pablo, Anand, all the folks at the company were practicing, what we saw was kind of at the same time, clients were demanding more and more of attorneys. You felt as an attorney an immense pressure not to miss an important case. Right. You don't want to walk into court and the judge says, "What about the Smith case?" Right. And you're like, "What Smith case?" Right. Or and you don't want to have that turn over one stone way too late in the game and realize your entire theory is blown. Right. And that's why you stay up till 2 a.m. researching.
But it's anticipating things that are beyond like a Shepard situation.
Exactly.
Because Shepard's just tracking
who cites what. Yeah.
This is anticipating things based on what people may have used and cited other places.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Can you show CARA interface?
Totally. I got to wake up my computer. I will say, though, the other part of the theory, too, I think is important to us is at the same time they're asking you to stay up till 2 a.m., clients not paying. Right. For legal research time, legal research costs. And so we want to find some way to help people be simultaneously a better attorney, right? Find the cases they might be missing, while also, doing it more efficiently. And this is what we came up with.
And you're being disruptive at the same time.
We hope so. So here's the basic, way you use CARA. Like I said, it's a legal research system. You just give it your documents, reads, understands it, and finds the legal research you need to know. And to give a kind of practical example, this is a real brief in a litigation between Uber and its drivers, right? A class action of drivers sued Uber saying, "Hey, we believe we're employees, not independent contractors," right? And Uber responded back, "We are, plaintiffs are not defendants' employees as a matter of law," right? The way you use it takes a lot of training. It's difficult. You just drag and drop it in. And what's happening in the background here is that CARA is trying to find cases that are on the same factual issues, on the same legal issues, in the same jurisdiction, right? The same procedural posture, recent cases, right? Good cases, right? That's kind of the algorithm behind the scenes is trying to do all those things at once, right? Exactly what you want as an attorney, kind of obviously. And what comes back are the top recommended cases not included in the brief already, so the cases you didn't know about yet, that are all about the right factual issue, find that drivers are employees under California law, in the right jurisdiction, on the right legal issue, employees versus independent contractors, right, and on and on. I mean, these cases, you couldn't kind of make this up even better, right? You have one case that's about whether or not Lyft's drivers are employees or independent contractors, and say you're a plaintiff's counsel trying to respond to the Uber brief, you of course want to read the case where Lyft drivers are, whether or not they're employees or independent contractors is for a jury to decide. It's code for you need to go to a trial, right? Plaintiff's counsel, you already win at that point, right? And if you're Uber's attorneys, you really want to see this first before your opponent or the judge does, right?
And you got it's coming up in this all tag for employer compensation, drivers, customers, delivery.
Exactly. Because CARA is intelligent enough to figure out what are the key concepts in your
in these documents. And then it's also pulling up. You can filter by jurisdictions.
Yeah, exactly. So say you only want to see California state law, you can narrow it down, and that would take out, it takes a few seconds because it's doing a pretty complex calculation, but it takes out, of the thousands of somewhat relevant results into the 6 very relevant results, it brings it down to just the 3 that are all in California.
And then you're getting summaries of the case.
Exactly.
So as you're sitting there at night, very quickly you can scan through this thing. You get to the third one, okay, there's a quick summary. Do I want to look at it further?
Exactly. That's exactly the idea. And again, the idea is to simultaneously save you time. Right, while also making you a better, higher quality researcher, right? And that's exactly what the summaries are for. It's supposed to save you the time of clicking open every single case, reading 10 pages and realizing, oh, I don't need to read this.
So how's AALL been for you this year?
Oh my gosh, we're doing this at the very end because it's been so busy. We are thrilled that we were able to, AALL recognized that we've come a long way in a year, and they gave us the new product of the year. Yeah, product of the year.
Where's the big plaque?
Oh, I think the plaque is already on a plane home. Already on a plane home. Yeah.
No, it was cool when we saw you guys right after you got the award. It's very cool.
Really neat. Extremely excited. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Really good to see you. You too.